undefeated player. Lone at the top, Angelo Falchi playing the Lost Giratina, which is something we've heard a lot about looking over at Japan and wondering if this was going to be the deck, and we didn't see a lot of it, and then I guess we forgot to just look at the top.
Look at the top, absolutely. And then we also have Robert Kinbrum, who we did get to see yesterday, as we said, sitting at that 8-0-1 record. So only has one tie on stream, so maybe looking for some redemption here in this stream match, trying to take a win this time. Starting with some upside down cards, you'll love it.
Yeah, the Forest Sealstone and the Beach Court just don't know where they are just yet. Maybe they think they're in Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. But here we go. Our players have that fist bump going, everything on the line here, kicking off our day 2 in our Swiss round 10. Angelo versus Robert here, and we're starting over on Robert's side of the field. So we got to see this deck a little bit yesterday, and honestly, it was showcased beautifully.
Yeah, and look at this, starting things off there with the fleet-footed from the Raikou V right into the Miraidon EX. We get to see that amazing ability that we've talked so often about, that tandem unit that's going to be able to search out these lightning Pokemon. You get 2 of them, and there's always that potential to search out the second Miraidon and just fill the bench right here on turn 1 if you want.
Yeah, I definitely think that is the way the Miraidon players seem to go, because it usually seems the most optimal here. It is a unit indeed, for sure, Kyle. But yeah, definitely starting with that Raikou as well. I mean, just a beautiful starter. Having access to that ability early on, you absolutely love to see it.
Yeah, it looked like it just drew twice to start the game.
I know, right?
We're cheating to start things off here around 10, but no, yeah.
We're fine.
It's pretty solid here as we see the second Miraidon come down. You're going to see the second tandem unit, and that means full bench to start things off here in the opener. I do want to mention that both of these decks do not care about what the opponent is doing. When I look at these lists, they are just straight consistency, pure gas.
Yes.
Just trying to accelerate huge attackers and get the ball rolling, take prize cards. So love to see that both of these very aggressive styles are finding success.
Yeah, all gas, no brakes indeed. We got to see a couple of different strategies from Robert yesterday against a Lost Box deck. It was not a Lost Box Giratina deck, but just the Lost Box. We did get to see that Regieleki V being utilized amazingly with that lightning wall move as well, to kind of just wall out your competition here. But I'm interested to see what strategy Robert decides to go with today against a Lost Box Giratina, of course. That Radiant Greninja coming out of the deck here. Fantastic inclusion to this deck just to get some draw support going.
Yeah, we see the Ultra Ball being played there for that, as, of course, searching out the lightning Pokemon is easy, but finding this one water frog is kind of complicated.
You need that Ultra Ball.
15 energies, and when all of those can turn into 2 cards a turn, it usually ends up being pretty successful.
Absolutely. So we have the energy attachment for turn, and that is just going to be a pass over to Angelo now to start off his first turn here, starting with the Cramorant in the active, and here you go. You love to see it, Kyle. The Colress's Experiment on turn 1, of course, going second, so you are able to play a supporter, unlike Robert, who went first, and that's exactly what you want to see. That Colress's Experiment is a huge staple to this deck, so we're looking at these 5 cards here. Angelo's going to choose 2 to put into the Lost Zone and 3 to go to hand.
Yeah, and of course, seeing that Mirage Gate, unfortunate to lose that early on, but probably means that we saw some pretty solid cards there off the Colress Experiment to get the ball rolling, and sure enough, Radiant Greninja, Giratina, and an Energy. Yes, please. Beautiful
here. Radiant Greninja being utilized right away here for that concealed cards, discarding the Water Energy to draw into 2 cards. Yeah, we saw the Mirage Gate and an Escape Rope go into the Lost Zone so far. So we're definitely going to be keeping track of the resources here, because they are always so essential. Even when you throw Giratina into the deck, when you're having a Lost Zone, you know, sometimes like half your deck, it's pretty important the decisions you make here. So it can greatly change your strategy. We saw the energy attachment onto that Giratina V here. Beach Court coming into play for that nice retreat cost removal, I guess, on that Cramorant.
Yep, right into the Abyss Seeking. Going to look at the top 4. Throwaway 2, and when you see that Battle VIP pass, I guess it's still technically turn 1, but it's
True.
the end of turn 1, so throw that away.
Yes, yeah, throw that away. We ended that first turn, though, with 4 in the Lost Zone, so pretty nice spot to be for a first turn. Now we're back over to Robert's side of the field. Looks like we have some decision-making going on here. Pretty decently sized hand. I don't know if the fleet-footed was moved or already utilized. That's why the coin is sitting there on that Raikou V. So just to keep track here for you all.
Yeah, there's certainly an opportunity to find a big knockout if we see one of those electric generators find success. If it double dips the chip, as you've been saying, you could find those 2 lightning energies off the top 5, and we could see this Miraidon EX take a quick knockout on the Giratina V. So a little bit of a risk with the Abyss Seeking, but maybe it had to be done given the hand.
Absolutely. Yep, that ability has been used now for that Regieleki V to bring out that Regieleki off the Tandem
it's go
unit.
time. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's see if we can see some energy here from this electric generator. Was that a miss, Kyle?
That's not good.
You hate when that happens, especially when your deck is playing 15 electric energy, and actually, surprisingly, 0 are in the prize cards. Statistically, that's wild.
Yeah, this is almost as many energies as we've seen Lugia players have, and
Yes.
we know how many energies they start with the prizes in.
Oh, absolutely. Or draw into as well.
Yeah.
But here we go. Let's see what else we can do here. That was the only electric generator that was in hand for Robert. So, but we do still have a concealed cards here that's going to be utilized. Discarding that energy here into an Ultra Ball and a Beach Court. Of course, Beach Court, I believe, is already in play here from Angelo's side of things. So we're working with a couple of ball search here in Robert's hand. I think that was some switch cards as well. We saw on this list yesterday, there's a 4-line of switch cart in the deck for Roberts, and that's just going to be a pass after promoting into the Radiant Greninja, and we're back over to Angelo's side of the field. So we have the Giratina V already energy attached. It's in the active position, and we're going in with a Nest Ball currently to grab a basic Pokemon out of the deck.
Yep, we see Angelo already going to take note of all of the energies available for Mirage Gate eventually. Got to make sure you have those when you need them. But I do want to talk a little bit about what happened last turn for Robert, as we saw concealed cards throw away the lightning energy, which could have been used for attacking. I don't think the knockout was available, just not enough Pokemon out there, even if you got the Regieleki VMAX, but a huge miss there. Couldn't even find a supporter, and this is desperation mode for Robert off the top of the deck next turn.
Ooh, yeah, that is a tough spot to be, hopefully. I mean, energy would help to at least get some concealed cards going, but not if this Radiant Greninja is knocked out. So if that happens, yeah, this could be a sticky situation that Robert is finding himself in currently. And we'll see how Angelo continues with this turn. I mean, it's been pretty consistent so far. 4 cards already into the Lost Zone here. So on track for really nice alignment into the Lost Zone. Of course, we're looking for the 4, 7, 10 here for these Lost Zone decks to unlock the Cramorant, unlock the Mirage Gate, and then, of course, unlock that Sableye. We currently see 1 Sableye in the Lost Zone right now. But here we go. We're going to see the Beach Court exchanged for that path to the peak.
Yep, going to try to lock out some abilities on the other side, and sure enough, going to be nice and steady here with the Abyss Seeking and throwing away the Chorus Experiment.
Wow.
I think you know what's in the hand there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm like, okay, another Chorus and a Mirage Gate as well. Okay, wow. All right, so the path to the peak is in play now here. 6 cards in the Lost Zone for Angelo. I will say, yeah, I don't think Angelo actually used the Radiant Greninja before putting the path to the peak in play that turn, but I don't know if there's energy even in the hand. But now we're over here on Robert's side. We're going to see a Beach Court bump that path to the peak anyway, which means Robert has access to that Radiant Greninja now. But what did we see from the draw?
Again, just found the Ultra Ball. These are, of course, ways to search out some more Pokemon here, but
yeah,
this is just another big miss. As we see once more, Radiant Greninja back to the active. It's a great Pokemon to hover around, as your opponent basically would just need to shred into this to find a knockout that makes sense with the resources.
Absolutely. All right, so we're back over to Angelo. Angelo's really just kind of running away with these free turns, stacking some cards into Lost Zone here, attaching energy per turn, getting those manual attachments here, super important. Colress's Experiment being utilized pretty much every single turn now here for Angelo. And we're seeing another one. Making the decision here is Angelo going to throw two Comfey into Lost Zone?
There's already one in the Lost Zone. You might as well just keep rolling at this stage. I mean, it looks like a Klefki is out right now with the way that this has been played. Multiple Abyss Seekings and Colress Experiments have led us to 8 cards in the Lost Zone. Not a single flower was selected.
Yes, not a single flower. I mean, that's the power of Giratina Lost Box, I suppose. The deck can just totally convert into a different strategy than you usually see with these Lost Box decks. And here we go. Lost Zone is at 8, which means that Mirage Gate is online. Only need to be at 7 here. So that Mirage Gate is going to allow Angelo to choose 2 different types of basic energy and attach them to the board. It's going to go on to that Giratina V in the active position, which is going to unlock at least that shred attack that you were talking about, Kyle.
This is a little awkward as we see that, of course, this is going to be a great turn to accelerate energies, get these Pokemon ready to roll, but if there was a card like Escape Rope in a situation like this, obviously that would work out so much better here for Angelo.
Oh,
Taking this prize card doesn't feel great, but it may potentially slow down Robert from finding some top decks.
Yeah, absolutely. Robert could potentially top deck an energy and use the concealed cards and still have that ability. So at least taking that knockout at least eliminates some of the draw engine there for Robert. But yeah, I mean, even now though, Angelo is just getting this entire board set up here into a concealed cards here as well. Was that a Colress off the concealed cards?
Sure was. Yeah,
Nice.
the sequencing is phenomenal here. Pulling out all those energies with double Mirage Gate, then drawing up with the Radiant Greninja, and finding some resources for the following turn. There's not much else you need to do. Gonna just throw down the Temple of Sinnoh to avoid maybe some more retreating on the other side. Not worried about any special energies from either player here.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to bump that beach court out of play here. Add a couple more obstacles in the way. We are going to see the evolution here into that Giratina V-Star. What I would say is the star of the deck here with that Pokemon. We're going to see the knockout here with the Shred onto that Radiant Greninja, and it's gone. And was that the top deck energy too, Kyle?
Yeah, we finally see the energy, but this is not ideal. There's also... got to do a little math here to make sure that the knockout is available with the Regieleki VMAX. Going to be adding an additional 60 on top of this, which is essentially like both players having a full board. I think that would be the exact 220.
Ooh, actually, that would be huge. That would be huge. If we can get that Regieleki VMAX with the Transistor ability that's buffing the damage here on these electric, basic electric Pokemon. That's going to be plus 30 damage here for Robert. So I think he's just making sure to work through all these actions, make sure all the damage aligns here. You don't want to misplay whatsoever. And like we said, Robert took a tie on stream yesterday, and I think is definitely going to be going for that win, not just to, advance in the tournament, but to showcase this deck a little more. We still have the fleet-footed ability to be used this turn as well for Robert down the line, but definitely thinning some cards out of the deck here. Of course, with that Regieleki VMAX.
Yep, tandem unit on the Miraidon EX. It feels like it should only be a first turn thing, but you can use it in the middle of the game. I'm going to search out that Raikou V, add that to the board to increase the damage output there from a Lightning Rondo, and I think we're going to see this knockout with the second Ultra Ball, perhaps.
Yeah, potentially. All right, here we have the fleet-footed. It's just going to be an energy card off of that ability on the Raikou V in the active position.
Yeah, I think the entire hand has to be played. Well, one card can be held onto there as the switch card creeps out of nowhere, but it's a lot of resources, but absolutely necessary knockout that we need to see.
All right, so here we go, starting with this hand. We're going in with the Ultra Ball, as you mentioned, Kyle. We're going to be discarding that Nest Ball, and I guess that switch card as well to the Ultra Ball.
Yep, a little unfortunate that we just have not seen supporters on this side from Robert. We talk about the consistency of the deck, and missing the electric generator to start things off and then completely whiffing on any way to draw cards has been very awkward. But sure enough, does finally have a knockout lined up.
Yeah, absolutely. So on paper, Kyle, how do you think this matchup looks for you?
I think you get 2 Regieleki VMAX in play, and then your Miraidon is dealing 280 damage, and that knocks out Giratina V-Stars very well. So with the initial knockout that you'd find on with a Raikou V into a Giratina V, I think that's going to line up great for your prize exchange, and then it's maybe just a little too difficult for Giratina to keep up when the electric generators are hitting.
Yeah, that is very true. Maybe just a little bit of extra consistency there. I guess maybe it's a battle of the consistency here with these aggro decks for sure. Robert Kinbrum, though, is going to take that knockout here on that Giratina V, as we mentioned before, with the buff of the damage. There's just enough damage to knock that out. And now we're back over to Angelo's side here. The Giratina V-Star is now the active
this
position.
This is the Magic 10 right now, and there's a boss's orders. So even though the prize card on the Radiant Greninja looked silly, look at this. We're going to go ahead and take one of those Regieleki V Max. And that is 3 prize cards. Goodbye.
Yeah, we know exactly what's happening
Throw them
here.
into the abyss.
310 HP, but that can be absolutely wiped out here from that Giratina V-Star with the V-Star power. Star Requiem is going to be that power used once there's 10 cards in the Lost Zone. So it doesn't only unlock Sableye, it unlocks that incredibly powerful V-Star power, and it just takes out a casual VMAX.
Where's my animation? I want to see it get sucked into the whirlpool.
Yeah, where's that Lost Zone animation? Hey, if there's any time to use that, it would be now, that's for sure. There we go. Let's go.
Well-deserved there. Finding 10 cards in the Lost Zone without a Comfey.
I know. That's even more incredible. Absolutely amazing here. All right, so we're on Robert's side now, losing a 3 prize card Pokemon. So on the back foot now, only 2 prize cards left for Angelo to take here. Raikou V in the active position as of now. Looking where to place this energy, and finally we have a supporter in hand. I see it, Kyle. We have one of those beautiful Professor researches.
Yes, that is a great one to find. The problem now is losing that Regieleki V Max means you lost a Transistor, and you need the damage amplifying here if you want to knock out this Pokemon in one turn. And I'm not sure if we're going to see an out here, as not seeing a card like Choice Belt played in the list.
Ooh, yeah, that is a good point to make here, Kyle. You don't have that amplification. I mean, I suppose it makes sense because you just rely on that Regieleki VMAX. But yeah, when it's wiped off the field, it puts you in a difficult position here. We're going to see that fleet-footed off that second Raikou V. And here we go, Electric Generator. That's 1, that's 2.
All right, calm down.
Oh my gosh, there's the energy. There is the energy, wow. So you can only select 2 of the top 5 cards. But hey, I mean, when you draw 4 of them, that's plenty here.
Yep.
So that Regieleki VMAX is now being charged up.
Yeah, this is the one Pokemon that can withstand the attack from the other side there, as it has 310 hit points. Dealing 220 damage with Max Thunder and Lightning. Not going to get any additional help from Transistor, as it only helps the basic Lightning Pokemon. So just looking to get a little chip damage in at this stage of the game and hopefully not see another boss's orders.
Yep, all right, so the retreat off that beach court there. So just a nice little retreat. It's also nice to mention Regieleki VMAX has no retreat cost, too.
Goodbye.
Oh, no.
Yep, boss's orders was in the hand, and that is going to be the 2 prize knockout. Quick and easy there for Mr. 9-0.
9-0, yeah, definitely performing as if he knows this deck like the back of his hand. He's like, yeah, this is how I got to my 9-0 right now. Getting 10 cards into the Lost Zone with no Comfey. Who needs Comfey, right, Kyle? Who needs it?
Dumb card. It doesn't do anything.
I don't like flowers.
Why would I throw 1 card in the Lost Zone when I can throw 2 with the Giratina V there?
Absolutely, yeah, that Abyss Seeking, such an incredible move here. So going into this game 2 for these players, Kyle, there's a lot on the line here. How do you think Robert can sort of reevaluate here, change up the strategy? Is there anything that happened in that game 1 that maybe can be adjusted into a more successful game 2?
I think that Robert just needs to draw a little better. It was unfortunate the way that things
generator.
worked out.
Oh.
I think there was maybe a turn or two that we could have just seen Robert scoop the cards up a little earlier and save some time. The good news is that only took 19 minutes, so there's certainly potential with these VMAX, EX, V Pokemon to see all these prize cards fly off the board in a Game 3. So if Robert's able to play their strategy, get that early Raikou knockout on a Giratina V, and then use the Miraidon EX against the Giratina V Star, I feel like this could be a pretty solid Game 2.
Absolutely, I agree with you 100%. And honestly, Kyle, I'm super excited here because Angelo is fighting to stay undefeated here, and if we get to witness that on stream, oh, it's going to be epic.
Yeah, this could be a phenomenal performance here, and very excited to see if Giratina has what it takes. Maybe with some flower selecting this time, we could see 10 cards in the Lost Zone even quicker, and we saw just how incredible that Regieleki VMAX knockout was. If that happens early again, we're in trouble.
Well, there's our energy, Kyle. We finally got the statistic probability here aligning with us. And here we go. We're into our Game 2 here in our Swiss round 10. So we're starting over here on Robert Kinbrum's side. Robert gets to choose, of course, who goes first after losing that Game 1 and is going to opt to go first for sure. And here we go. That Regieleki V and Miraidon EX already out, so pretty consistent here from Robert, starting with these Pokemon and just jumping straight into the deck off this tandem unit.
Yeah, this deck is great as far as consistency goes. Playing all of those Beach Court and these Pokemon that just have the one retreat cost means that you'll be able to switch in and out of these Pokemon fairly easy, and finding all of them with tandem unit is about as easy as it gets, as we see nearly the full board already here. The only consideration now is if you want to leave a bench space open for that Radiant Greninja, but we don't see a way to search it out just yet.
Yeah, you've mentioned this plenty of times before, Kyle, that Ultra Ball is it the only search that we have, really, besides, like, just draw?
I think there might be Nest Ball, too. There's a couple of those floating around.
Yeah, I think you're right. So, yeah, but still, you have to hit into those cards. Yeah, I see there's 2 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball there that could potentially search for that Radiant Greninja, but it does help a lot in this deck for that Radiant Greninja. So Robert might just opt to keep that bench space open until it can come down, but who knows? We'll see. We still have an energy attachment that can happen onto that Miraidon EX. Here we go for Robert.
Yeah, there's certainly some potential for next turn to be huge there. Multiple Serena and the electric generator in hand. If the electric generator were to find multiple energies, or maybe even a top deck energy was found, you could see a knockout on a V Pokemon pretty early.
Yeah, those electric generator really do seem like a huge, huge part of this deck. When you don't have that, or when you whiff it, that's when you really realize how slow things can get and how awkward things can get as well in the match. So having that already in hand turn 1 is amazing here. And speaking of amazing, Angelo has that Battle VIP pass for his turn 1. So that's pretty epic as well, just being able to search out 2 of your basic Pokemon here and put them straight onto your bench. Of course, Angelo is also going to get a peek into the deck, and you can see what he's doing right now is separating the energy, kind of putting them up there in the deck to keep track of all the energy in the deck if any of them are prized, because energy is so essential, especially in a Giratina build, because when you're discarding those energy, they're that much more important to keep track of.
Yeah, that's a great point. As we see, it's a 5-4-4 count with 5 psychic energy. Just thinking about how to use each one of these resources optimally. Of course, you can use the Star Requiem to take a big knockout and not lose those energies, but when you're counting out, trying to make sure you have exactly enough resources to close out on these V and EX Pokemon, you need to make sure you don't leave yourself with just Cramorant attacks at the end of the game.
Yeah, you don't want to come up short, that is for sure. Well, this game we actually are going to see some Comfey already out on the field here. The really pretty artwork of them too. That's the promo Comfey that we get to see. Looks like just cut in the deck here. And Angelo is going second, so we're going to see another Colress's experiment. This is the same thing that happened in Game 1 that led to so much consistency for Angelo. So let's see what we get off this first Colress. Looks like the Drapion V and a Cramorant is going to be going to the Lost Zone here. at Boss's orders, and I think it was another Colress and that Grass Energy being kept in the hand. So all very awesome cards here.
Yeah, already a Cramorant in the hand, and if you're going to attack into a V Pokemon or EX Pokemon, you'd love for it to be the Regieleki. This is the only Pokemon where it feels optimal to attack into, as you're going to knock out everything else with one hit anyways with a Giratina V-Star, but maybe this lines up for you not to use Star Requiem on a V Max later on.
That's epic. All right, we're going into a second flower selecting here. Already 3 cards in the Lost Zone. Now we're going to have 4 here with that second flower selecting.
Ooh.
Oh, the second Battle VIP Pass. This is absolutely ideal here for any Lost Box players. Just establish more of your bench Pokemon. Getting those Giratina V out, that means they have the ability to evolve in the upcoming turns whenever you need them to, or you can just keep them as V as well. And that Radiant Greninja is going to add so much consistency here for Angelo with that concealed card. So huge here. We already have several energy in the hand too. So it looks like that's what's going to be used right now. Drawing into another 2 cards. Ooh, was that a Thornton, Kyle?
It may have been. That is an interesting card that we've seen thrown into the mix from time to time, but it's great to see the multiple Giratina V found here off of the second Battle VIP Pass now, as this means that a gusting effect on this Pokemon still can potentially lead to a Giratina V Star to follow up.
Absolutely. This is a fantastic board state here for Angelo. 4 cards in the Lost Zone, so very similar to what we saw in that first game from Angelo. This was the turn 1 for Angelo. That's multiple Battle VIP Pass, 4 cards in the Lost Zone, plenty of Pokemon here. 2 Giratina V out. Awesome first turn. So here we go. Back onto Robert's side of the field now. Kind of trying to fix the deck here. Knocked it over a bit. But this is the potential for, like you said, Kyle, an explosive turn here. If things can go Robert's way, we'll hopefully see him start to take the lead if things are sequenced correctly.
Yeah.
If he can hit what he needs. And a fleet-footed is a nice way to start that out.
Don't see an energy. Okay, good. you always worry about the sequencing and what should happen in these spots like this, and it feels good to take a card off of the deck and then sure enough see some lightning. Maybe one more. One more.
Oh, at least we got one. We didn't whiff like the game 1 that we saw from Robert. That was unfortunate to see. So at least from this first electric generator here, going to be able to attach 1 electric energy.
1 is basically 0. It desperately needed to see 2 there. That was the way to get the knockout this turn, is you're looking to use Serena as a gusting effect instead of for drawing cards. With the use of fleet-footed already, we don't see any energy in the hand.
Got you.
And that means that Miraidon EX is not going to be able to attack this turn, at least into a V Pokemon.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if Serena was just both effects?
Yeah. That'd be a little good.
that would be pretty broken there. All right, so.
Oh, there's a second generator.
Oh, I didn't even see that, Kyle. How did we miss that?
Very nice. Yeah,
Here we go.
It's not how you want to use it, but just one of these lightning energies.
Please hit.
No.
Are you serious? Kyle, no.
Why?
What is happening here? 15. Oh, okay, well, we do have, I believe, 3 electric energy. Was it 3 or 4? I think it was 3 in the prize cards, but still, there's 15.
This is unacceptable.
There's 15 in the deck.
You looked at 10 cards and you saw 1 lightning.
That is rough to see, and I guess that's sometimes how it goes. I felt like Miraidon yesterday was flowing so nicely, and maybe now we're seeing it flow not so nicely here, but we'll see what Robert can come up with this turn. Is going to use this Serena, but it's going to be for that draw support versus the gust effect, as you mentioned, Kyle. So able to discard up to 3 cards and then draw your hand up to 5 here. So it's going to be a draw of 3 from Robert. Still not an energy, Kyle. Where's the energy?
Where are they?
Where is the energy?
Yeah, this is just not working out. You can see Robert is desperately trying to avoid playing down the Regieleki V Max until it is necessary to use to have the transistor ability out to take a knockout. And in doing so, throwing away a Beach Court, which was a pretty vital piece to keep the Pokemon moving here. Just going to go for that third Regieleki V now, considering that one of these may be knocked out shortly.
Yeah, you definitely have to start prepping here for the future turns, putting in some fail safes, definitely, as we saw in the last game. That VMAX was wiped, and there was no Regieleki V for another one to evolve into. So even though Robert had the VMAX, there was nowhere to put it, unfortunately. So just prepping here for future turns. Angelo's side of the field now. So let's start off this turn. And I mean, what do you think about this here, Kyle?
I think that Robert is very unlucky, and if we see a Mirage Gate off of these 5 cards or the flower selecting, this could get ugly quick.
I feel like it's pretty likely that we see that. So maybe I don't want to speak too soon here, but at least from this Colress's experiment, we're going to have 3 of these cards go to the hand. We still have some flower selectings, and Angelo's really starting to build up quite a big hand here now. This is what these Lost Box decks do. If there's no disruption happening, you just stack a bunch of cards, not only into your hands, but also into your Lost Zone. We now see 6 cards in the Lost Zone currently.
Yep, going to throw away an additional card there to keep looking. Found the Mirage Gate.
There we go.
Huge hand there, and it gets to add that in as well. This is going to be the 7th card, and it's the 2nd Mirage Gate.
Wow, a 2nd Mirage Gate here for Angelo. We saw last game 2 Mirage Gates were played at the same time. That's definitely a common thing that happens in these Lost Zone decks as well. We're going to see 1 Mirage Gate here from Angelo, so it is unlocked now with the Lost Zone being at 7. Let's get those energy out onto the field.
Yeah, and of course, this is pretty solid for Angelo, as when you use the Giratina V-Star, you start to get closer with the Lost Impact, throwing away those energies into the Lost Zone. So with 7 already there, you get to 9, you're basically ready for Star Requiem on the following turn.
Ooh, yeah, things are starting to heat up here for Robert, unfortunately, and not in the electric way that Robert wanted things to go.
He doesn't even have heat in his house because of the generators not working.
That's true. Generators are not firing off here today, unfortunately, for Robert. We're going to see, like I said, those double Mirage Gate here come down. So very similar to the last game that we saw from Angelo. 2 energy being spread across these Giratina V here from this Mirage Gate. We still have the attach for turn 2 if there's any energy in the hand here.
Yep, held on to a Psychic, throwing away a Water early with that concealed cards, and the switch was found off of the Colress experiment. So even has the opportunity to sneak in 1 more flower selecting, and this will be 8, leading to eventually 10 to close the turn out.
Was that another? Oh, okay. It was going to be the Colress's experiment going into the Lost Zone, opting for that V-Star.
Yeah, you can see the boss's orders already in hand. The Colress experiment too. The Thornton, if you want to go crazy. There's so many options here. Whatever Pokemon Angelo wants to target from this point on should be available.
There's that path to the peak also in play now here from Angelo's side. So shutting off any rule box Pokemon abilities. Giratina V-Star now in the active position. We saw both of those Giratina V-Star actually being evolved into. So the one that was taken off of the flower selecting here. And there we go. That is going to be the Lost Impact there to take a knockout on that Raikou V. 2 prize cards already down for Angelo. Plenty of energy still on the field as well. And now we are at 10 in the Lost Zone here, Kyle. Things are going well for Angelo. And I'm starting to understand this 9-0 record for sure.
Yeah, and look at this. Angelo, as soon as he plays down that path to the peak, feels confident enough to leave an extra energy on the Giratina V-Star up in the active position. Doesn't think that there's going to be a knockout this turn.
Yeah, just making Robert work for this, I suppose. And I think Robert is going to have to work for this for sure. Of course, mapping out every move that he wants to make here. This is so important because Robert needs to pick up a game to at least take it into a game 3. So he's going to have to do everything possible to make this a very impactful turn.
Well, does have the supporter of choice there, that research to get the ball rolling. We should see the multiple Regieleki V Max down, but it's still have to deal with that path to the peak. And we have seen 1 Beach Court fall into the discard pile early on.
Absolutely. We have 3 Beach Court in the deck here. So maybe we'll see 1 off of this Professor's Research. So we're going to have a fresh 7 cards here for Robert. Oh, wow. So no stadium there. Lots of energy. Would have loved to see that earlier
Yeah.
in the game. We
Just
got a nest ball, an escape rope, and just another research and ultra ball.
I think if you attack in this game and don't take a knockout, you lose. And that's what's been happening left and right. We even saw Angelo with the opportunity to sneak in the Kramer and said, if I'm not attacking for a prize card, who cares?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and that's kind of what these decks fall to as well. They're so aggressive, but if you start whiffing and missing those turns, that aggression completely melts away.
I mean, Angelo may not have used dice the entire tournament. You don't need to label knockouts like that. So this would have been a pretty cool run, 9-0, and not have to touch any die.
Not a single die. Yeah, that'd be pretty wild, Kyle. Pretty wild. But here we go. Robert trying everything possible. Gonna go into the deck here with a nest ball. Able to search out a basic Pokemon and put it onto the bench here. There is an open bench spot for Robert.
Wouldn't it be cool if there was an EX Pokemon that could do that for you at any point in time?
Yep.
Well, do we have a code for you?
I love the adverts here. Hey, we finally see that Radiant Greninja join in the field here into that empty bench space for Robert. Maybe trying to rescue this a little bit here, but this is looking rough, Kyle.
I mean, it looks cool. Yeah, you get a little bit of a mix from all of the yellow Pokemon out there, but there's still a path to the peak.
Yep.
So nothing's happening.
Yeah, true. Path to the peak is in play.
Said, please take this one prize Pokemon and don't ever find a boss's orders.
Oh no. Yeah, Radiant Greninja is a little deceiving sometimes. It is a rule box Pokemon, so it's shut down by that Path to the Peak, so not even able to use it. It's kind of a sacrificial lamb at this point for Robert. Back over to Angelo's side, and unfortunately, this is really turning out as we saw in the game one. Angelo was just able to consistently get that board established and is just gliding through these turns here.
This is the wildest turn, as nothing needs to be done. Just boss's orders, bring up a 3-prize Pokemon,
and
throw down an extra energy, and throw this Pokemon into the abyss.
Into the abyss here. Oh my gosh, that Star Requiem here, the V-Star power. Only one can be used per game, and that was an impactful one. That's what you want to use that V-Star power for. Take a ginormous knockout here, go down to 1 prize card now for Angelo. I don't see any way out of this, and that's it. The way out is that fist bump. Conceding the game, Robert Kinbrum could not wrap things up here and take a win against this now 10-0 player here, Angelo Falchi. That was amazing, Kyle.
Well, now I feel bad because the only time that we've put Robert on stream, we've seen his only tie and his only loss of the tournament. So maybe if we just stay away from him for a little while, he'll find his way to top 8. So.
Yes, absolutely. We promise Miraidon, it's still doing well out there in the fields. It's winning, yeah, it's winning. But yeah, maybe it's the stream curse, unfortunately, for Robert. Who knows? But yeah, definitely things did not go Robert's way in that match, or really either of those games, unfortunately.
Honestly, it could have. It was very close to happening multiple times. Just the electric generators were not working. And when you do not have the energy acceleration for this deck, it's just really hard to find success. And the knockouts were not available. And sure enough, Angelo just finding ways to flood the Lost Zone with cards and easily take 3 prize cards whenever he so chose.
Absolutely. Angelo looking pretty happy there, but also looking so calm, cool, and
stream, and we saw it one time with
Yes,
Sander.
yeah.
And
Yep.
we're